Discovering Asian dramas back in 2018 was an enlightening moment for me, and I've never looked back. I enjoy talking about them just as much as watching them, so much so that I decided to create a podcast with a heavier focus on Chinese dramas, but passing through Korean, Japanese, Thai, and Filipino dramas. Welcome to the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast, your corner for drama talking. For more tea and soju content, consider joining Patreon, where I release extra reviews and polls. Everything is linked in the episode description. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast. I'm your host Liliana, and today's episode marks the start of the Till the End of the Moon review. Now, this drama, if you've been around my socials, whether it be Twitter or Instagram, you know this drama has me in a complete chokehold. And I've finished the drama and it's been such a ride. It's been one of those dramas that kind of has brought the community together in terms of, well, I say that the people who really enjoyed the drama, there has been so much good chatter online between people who have enjoyed the drama, let's put it that way, but we'll get into that a little bit later, but I have just loved watching this on air along with everybody else. But also, this drama, I've done something slightly different. I've actually recorded each part of my review as I'm watching. What I mean by that is that I watched episode 1 through to episode 15. I sat down and I recorded my thoughts and theories and everything that I had going on about, those first 15 episodes. And then I went back and I watched episode 16 through to episode 30. Again, I sat down and I recorded my thoughts, my theories, my emotions, everything that I had, to record about that. And then finally, I watched episode 31 through to episode 40. I sat down and I recorded my thoughts by just everything. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to release this. I haven't decided whether it's going to be a 2-part or a 3-part. By that, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be 2 episodes of the Tea and Soju podcast or if it's going to be 3 episodes. I am leaning towards 3 episodes because I wanted to do something a little bit special for this drama. And I have met so many mutuals through Twitter because of this drama that I wanted to get their opinions. A lot of these people that I've been talking to, they're people who have read the book this is based on, and they have been comparing the book to the drama. And I kind of reached out to them and said, look, are you willing to do a little message to the drama, whether that be for me to read out or a voice recording, whichever it may be. And, whether it be a goodbye message to the drama, a mini review, whatever, just some thoughts, that you want to get out about the drama. And I'm going to sprinkle those in throughout the review. And because I have, I've recorded in sections, it means that I can break up the episode, whether it be in 2 or in 3. Let me know what you think. Do you want it in 2 parts or in 3 parts? I'm leaning towards 3 episodes because then I actually don't leave you guys without an episode on one of the weeks. It's my 30th birthday next week. If you're listening to this on the Wednesday it comes out, it'll be, the Monday afterwards. And I'm going home for a couple of days. I've had quite a stressful time lately and, family emergencies, health issues, whatever. There's a lot happening. So I can't wait to just go back home and relax and, recharge a little bit. If you're an immigrant, you probably know that going home is you're recharging. And for me, that's how it works. So that's what's going to happen. And because it's my 30th and whatnot, I'm going to be a little bit away from recording. But if I do it in a 3-part, it means that one of the weeks you guys still get an episode. So that's why I'm leaning towards that. And otherwise, this would be like a 3+ hour episode because I have that much recorded for it. So that's also another reason for me to be leaning towards that. But I also wanted to extend this out. So if you're listening to this, if you've watched till the end of the moon, and you enjoyed it, or you haven't enjoyed it, or whatever it may be, and you want to get some thoughts out, please, I will extend the same thing that I did to some of the favorite creators that I've been following along with this journey. If you'd like to write a little message or do a little voice recording, please do. Send it my way, whether it be on Instagram, on Twitter, by email. I always leave all of that linked in the description below, and I will add those into the episode because I have loved this drama so much, and I've loved meeting new people and talking to people about this drama. So I want to make this episode as special as I can. So that's it. That's the intro. And basically how this episode is going to work, this first episode will be the non-spoiler section where I will just go through the details of the drama, things like when it was recorded, release dates, all of that good stuff. And then I will just give you some general points, like a non-spoiler review of this drama. And then this episode will include my first part of the review, which is episode 1 through to episode 15. And that will be spoilers. But I will make sure to give you plenty of warning before I get into that. So if you want to check out the drama, but you're not quite sure, you're still sitting on the fence, listen to the first part of this and just see if what I'm talking about is something that you would want to watch. And that's it. That's all the, intro out of the way. And with that out of the way, let's get right into the episode. So, Till the End of the Moon is a Chinese drama. It is a xianxia. It was directed by Zhu Jiliang, and the screenwriter has two credited screenwriters, He Fang and Lu Xuan. Now, I got all of this information from Drama Wiki. I always like Drama Wiki. It has plenty of information on there, so I quite like using them. This drama is based on the original writing is He Wu Guang Now When Biju Ben. I completely butchered that. I should have just gotten the English translation. And basically, the name of the book it is based on. So one of them is Under the Black Moonlight, and the other one that I have seen it as is Black Moonlight Holds the BE Script. So I don't know which is the more accurate title, but that's the two I have down, and that is by the author Teng Meng Wei Zi. So that's the, original work, the original source material for this drama. The producer for this is Wang Yirong, Zhou Jing, and Xin Wei Min. And the art director is Luan Hexin. Now, normally I don't really go into the art director credits and the costume designer, which I will. But for this drama, I have to give them both shouts outs because this was stunningly beautiful. I will get into that in the things that I really enjoyed about this drama. So the costume designer for this is named Huang Wei, and oh my god, the costumes in this drama, guys, they are stunning, absolutely stunning, and there's so much variety within them that I was just stunned. The female lead by Lu, she kind of wears so many different costumes, and they are all stunning, and there's rich orange colors and reds, and it's just I can't with the costuming in this drama. It truly was stunning. I loved it. So that's why I wanted to give out a, shout out to the costume designer for this one, because they truly did a magnificent job for this drama. So the filming for this drama was from November 5th, 2021 to March 31st, 2022. That means that, this drama aired a year after it wrapped up, roughly a year after it wrapped up, which is quite a long time. It tends to be post-production for Xianxia takes a long time anyways, but there was just so much happening and everybody was waiting for this drama. And then it finally did come out. And this was recorded at Hengdian World Studios. I have mentioned Hengdian Studios before. It is this really, really big allotment of studios in China. It's 10 studios put all together. Most of the historicals and whatnot get filmed there, so that's where this one was filmed as well. As for cast, so we have Lu Yunqi as Tan Taijin and Bai Lu as Li Susu. Yi Shiwu, they have different names because different lifetimes and whatnot. So Bai Lu, Lu Yunqi actually dubbed himself. He is the only one out of the main sort of cast that did so. Bai Lu is voiced by the voice actor Duan Yixuan. And then we have Chen Duling as Yi Bingchang. She was voiced by Gao Qingfan. And we have Deng Wei as Xiaolin, and he was voiced by Sun Ru Yang. Now, yes, they have other characters, but I'm just going to go with the ones that they spend the most time as, if that makes sense. So the synopsis, what is this drama about? The synopsis, according to Drama Wiki, reads as: in an era when the demons are in power, they are the masters of the despicable cultivators and mortals. The cultivator elders deem it necessary to send someone back in time to determine the origin of the demon lord and to prevent his awakening. Li Susu accepts the mission, becoming the mortal Yi Shiwu, General Yi's third daughter, who is married to Tan Taijin, the hostage prince and future demon lord. She is determined to destroy Tan Taijin, who in future will massacre many. But as a witness to Tan Taijin's past life and rise to power, an unexpected tale emerges, one complicating her quest. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist. There's so much more to this story, but that's the main gist of it. This is a 40 episode, 55 minute per episode drama. Now, the first thing that I have to mention is this drama was originally, I believe, either 52 or 56 episodes. They had to chop 16 episodes off. When I say that, though, we have to take that with a pinch of salt. Yes, they cut 16 episodes, but technically it wasn't necessarily 16 episodes because the episode length, so the amount of time per episode, went up to 15 minutes. Some of them even were on the 59-minute mark, as opposed to your more, normal 40-minute. So they actually added about 15 to 20 minutes per episode. So if you add all of that up, they probably, those 16 episodes that were supposedly taken off get shoved a lot further, if that makes sense. Even saying so, though, there was a lot that got cut out, especially in the last arc of the story. I said originally, right, that this is a new rule that was instated, I think, this year for Chinese dramas because of censorship, where dramas have to be 40 episodes. If they are longer than 40 episodes, they must be broken into 2 parts, and those parts must air 6 months apart, if that makes sense. And originally when this was announced, I was like, well, it's probably not that bad. It could work. Now, I thought that dramas that had already passed censorship and had already obtained their distribution license, it wouldn't affect them. It does, and that's a little bit concerning because that story is already planned for 56 episodes or whatever it may be, and then post-editing, they have to go in and cut and make the story make sense. And whichever drama that happens to, it's not just Till the End of the Moon. Whatever drama that happens to, there's others that are on the line to, have the same happen to them. The story is going to suffer regardless of how good the editing team is, regardless how good, the screen writing is. It's gonna suffer because you chopped a bunch of episodes off. So yeah, I'm necessarily, I thought originally it could be good, but for dramas that were gonna come out and that were planned as 40 episodes, not necessarily for dramas that already been recorded and whatnot and were now being chopped back. So that's a little bit upsetting, but it is what it is. So let's get into things that I liked without giving any spoilers. The first thing that I will say, like I said, I've already mentioned, is the costuming of this drama is stunning. Like, all the colors and everything are just so visually stunning. There's lots of hair pieces and, even the hairstyles. Like, Tantai Jin, when he becomes... That's going to be a spoiler, so I'm going to leave that. But there's a certain look of him that he's got these braids in his hair, and it is stunning. It is absolutely stunning of a hairstyle. It suits, I will say this again and again and again, Loo Yoon-chi he just looks so good in period costume, and he just suits a period costume so much. But yeah, that braided hairstyle was just stunning. It was something that I personally hadn't seen before. All of the colors and the costuming and everything, again, they used stuff like oranges and reds and these bright colors that I don't necessarily see all the time in Xianxia. So I loved it, absolutely loved it. That was one of the things. The CGI for this was really, really good. I feel like CGI for Xianxia has been getting consistently better, and I'm really happy for that because it's 2023 and, we can do better. We can do better. But for this one, it was pretty good. I was pretty happy with it. So that's, on that angle of things. So let's get into, the acting itself. The acting in this, oh my god. Now, I went into this knowing that the chemistry would be good. If anything else failed and everything else failed, the chemistry would be good, because I have seen Loo Yoon-chi and Bai Lu in Love is Sweet, and I knew their chemistry was fire. But my god, the chemistry for them two until the end of the moon is insane. It's a whole other level. There's not a lot of kissing scenes. That's not the type of drama this is. There's not a lot of that, but their body language, there's these big explosive moments between them, and you feel like it vibrates from the screen, if that makes sense. And they nailed it. Their chemistry was on point. And coming to that as well, I will have to say, this to me will go down as of right now, May 2023, Loo Yoon-chi's best role to date. His Tantai Jin, his Devil God, his just everything. He did so damn well in this drama. It is insane how well he did. I knew he was a good actor. I have seen him in various things. I knew he was a good actor. But this character is a tricky character to pull off, because at his core, he is a little bit evil. He is, and by a little bit, I don't mean he's going to be all great and lovely and just full of love by the end. That's not the case. He's going to do what he needs to do to get to where he needs to be. But there's these underlying, expressions and these micro expressions on his face. And yet he was a lot of the time, being evil. so to speak, and I still loved his character so much. And it was all in the micro expressions. It was all in these like little moments, and I loved his character so much. Bailu, you guys know, you've been hearing, if you've heard my podcast before, I'm a huge Bailu fan, and this is no change. Her emotional scenes, I am in love. Anytime Bailu does an emotional scene, I'm right there with her in the feels, because she just cries so like naturally on screen, if that makes sense, that the emotion just kind of flows. These two together, like I will hammer on about this again and again and again. Their chemistry on screen was absolutely fire. So their acting is, unmatched. I will say I love Bailu, but this was Lu Yunxi's role completely through and through. His character was a lot meatier, if that makes sense. He had a lot to sink his teeth into, and he did it so beautifully. Like he absolutely nailed this role. But I also absolutely loved Bailu in this as well. So yeah, the acting is stunning. Now, this drama is ridden with angst. It starts in episode 1 and it goes right through to the end. But I am not an angst person, but they do it so well. This drama broke me in many different places, but it's done so well. There's like these light moments that kind of like come in and like, pat your head for a little bit to kind of like prepare you for what's coming. And I kind of love that. It gives you like a little breather before they throw another, spanner in the works, if that makes sense. So yeah. Now, the only thing I will say, the story is done pretty well. It is so interwoven. I think there's so much detail interwoven into the story that I would probably, if I rewatch this, I will probably pick up so much stuff from it again, that I would be really excited to do so. I'm not ready to do a rewatch because this is emotionally heavy. But I do eventually want to do one because there's so many things that I think I will pick up on a second watch that I didn't on the first one. Now, just overall, I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. It will probably go down as one of my favorite xianxuas. Now, let's get into the fact that this drama is a very, it's a very dividing drama. Many people loved it, many people hated it. It broke a bunch of records, but it also garnered a lot of hate. There was a lot of problems off screen in terms of there was accusations of, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my God, plagiarism, that the visuals within the drama were plagiarized from a game. There was, things like people were saying at first that Lu Yunxi is, looked too skinny for the character he was portraying. I actually think he works really well for the character, and hearing back from some of the people who have read the book, he is described as like sickly looking for most of the book, if not all of it. So he does fit that role. I also heard that he actually injured himself before he started filming Till the End of the Moon. So he actually lost weight, not necessarily because he wanted to. It was just, because of his injury, he ended up losing weight. So yeah, I don't know how all of that works. There was a bunch of stuff. There was a lot of hate thrown at Bailu. There was a lot of hate thrown at Lu Yunxi. There was a lot of hate thrown at the drama. There was just a lot happening, and there was so much drama going on, behind the scenes, in terms of like antis and in terms of, people maybe thinking that the drama didn't quite live up to expectations. Now, I'm all about, if you don't enjoy something, that's cool. We can agree to disagree and move on. The fact is, there just seemed to be unnecessarily a lot of hate towards this drama. And that makes me a little bit sad because, like, a lot of people were enjoying it. And, you don't necessarily have to go in and you can say your piece. We can agree to disagree and we can move on. Like, you can leave it alone. But people just were insisting on it. I tried to stay away from all of that as much as possible because I did not want all of that to impact my viewing of this drama. And for the most part, I pretty much was successful in staying away from it. And hopefully if you guys are, listening to this and deciding whether you want to check it out or not, I would recommend stay away from it all. Judge the drama for what it is and for what you're watching. And if you enjoy it, great. If you don't, let it go and move on to the next drama. I always say we have far, far too many dramas out there to be watching anything we aren't enjoying completely. But if we're enjoying it, who are we to rain on somebody else's parade? That's all it is. At the end of the day, this is entertainment. And if you're entertained, the drama has done what it's meant to do. So yeah, that's my two pieces. You will not hear me go into anything else about, whatever the drama was happening outside of the screen, simply because I didn't want to, get involved in that part of it. I just didn't. I wanted to enjoy the drama because I was loving it so much, and I didn't, I wasn't looking for the negativity for it, if that makes sense. But I thought it wouldn't be fair for me to do a full review and not at least mentioned, what was happening with this drama. Now, that is it. That is, my very quick, non-spoiler. I really can't say very much without spoiling the drama. So that's why I don't want to, say too much. I will say, the first 10 minutes of this drama is it opens with a bang. It is like an epic battle, opening the drama. So you very quickly know if you're going to like it or not, because it's very quickly tells you all it needs to tell you about this drama and where it's going and what is happening. It is a true enemies to lovers. These people hate each other and they have reason to do so. But life always throws a wrench in things, and love always can flourish from the darkest of places, and it can, solve. I will say this drama has a really, really good message that it stood out to me and I loved it. It is the fact that no matter what happens, you can be born to be evil or you can be born to be good. That's not the case. You make your own choices. It's how you choose to react to situations, and there can be a lot of hate surrounding you, but you can still be inherently good. And I love that about this drama. I love that at the end of the day, it is your choice how to be and who you want to be. And whether that be good or bad or whatever, this drama plays a lot with goodness and bad and, what it means to be either or if we all have a little bit of bad, we all have a little bit of good. And, I really, really loved that whole arch and theme throughout the drama. So yeah, that is it. That is my non-spoiler review part of this episode. I am now going to be heading into the spoilers for episode 1 through to episode 15. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope this format works out, and please let me know what you think, because I'm always looking forward to hearing what you guys think, especially when I'm trying out this new format. I want to know if this is something that you guys enjoy listening to or not. So yeah, spoilers ahead if you haven't watched this drama, or if you've watched but you've only watched to a certain point. I will only be talking episode 1 through to 15 in the next section. So I'm sure by this point I've already explained how this review is gonna work, so I'm just gonna go straight in and dive into the first part of the review, and that is, so I've watched the first 15 episodes of Till the End of the Moon, and I have thoughts, I have notes, and I just thought I'd start getting them down. I'm really interested to see how this review is going to work out, because normally I would sit down and at the end of watching the drama as a whole and record that way, but with this one it's going to be a little bit different, because obviously I've only watched a couple of at this point of time of me recording, I've only watched 15 episodes, and then next time that I sit down to record, I would have watched the next 15 episodes, and then my last part will be like my last thoughts, which will be the last 10 episodes for this, for Till the End of the Moon. So, but without any further ado, let's get right into my thoughts for the first 15 episodes. I did a little mini post of like very first impressions for the episode 1, and one of the first things that I noticed is, damn, that opening scene of like episode 1 is stunning. It starts off straight away with a bang. I mean, it sets out our Lee Susu's and also our Devil Gods storyline. I've said this before, I love a drama that starts kind of like in the middle of the story and then it throws you back and kind of, you know, explains how you got into it. There's been a few, and some of my all-time favorites do this. So The Untamed is a drama that does this. Lighter and Princess is another one that does this. And I just really enjoy it because I love like then going through the story and trying to figure out how our characters that we are becoming to know, you know, later on, gonna get to the point of the beginning episodes. It's kind of like a puzzle set out for you, and you kind of have to figure it out, and I really, really, really love that. I was super impressed with the CGI. Is it, you know, the best CGI I've ever seen? No, it isn't. But ultimately, I think it's pretty good for like a xianxia drama. As a whole, I think it's, you know, it's pretty. And actually, there's a video that kind of like shows you like the beauty of the drama. And some of the CGI is really, really good. So I will give it, you know, plus points. I think xianxia in general is moving in the right direction. And this one is one of the prettier ones to look at, so I was really, really happy with that aspect of it. And also, one of the things that I mentioned that I wrote down in my notes was, so for the Devil God, we're kind of like used to the powers that tend to come with like the evil sect or the demon sect in general. But actually, I found that the powers used for the Devil God in Till the End of the Moon were pretty different to anything I'd had seen. And I'm talking in the past, but I'm still watching this drama. But either way, this is going to be a little bit of me getting used to like talking about it because I've literally only watched 15 episodes, so we shall see. But I might, you know, when listening back to this episode, when I put it all together, it's going to be pretty interesting to see if it actually becomes something cohesive. I'm hoping it does. I'm hoping this idea works out. But basically, there is, in the first episode, one of his ultimate powers is like he has this eye, and I think it's kind of like the devil eye. They call it the devil eye or something like that. And basically anything that eye sets as a target is sure to hit. Like, it's very, very hard for that to miss. And that's not, I think, at least of the dramas that I've watched, that's not a power that, you know, I've seen before. So I was really, really happy you know, to come across powers that are quite different to stuff that I had seen before. So that's something I really, really enjoyed, you know, straight off the bat. And also, I absolutely loved the costuming. I mean, there's an epic scene of like the Devil God and Lee Susu going head to head, and it's like the darkness and the light going head to head, and it is just stunning. Like, it's visually stunning to look at. So I absolutely loved, you know, the first episode. It's complete setup. You very quickly get into the story. So, you know, we have Lee Susu, who rightfully so has the most hatred for the Devil God. And, you know, he has annihilated her whole clan, her whole family. He has annihilated the world in general. So it is very valid for them to be enemies. It is completely valid for her to hate him. So I feel like this drama is a lot darker in tone because the angst is so much, you know, more palpable. There is a real, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a real back and forth in terms of the two main characters' feelings, especially for Lee Soo-soo, so Bailu's character, simply because she knows what he is capable of. She knows what he may become, and she has seen, him annihilate her whole family. So there is a true hatred there. But then there's also like this love creeping in, and it doesn't start as love, I don't think. I think it starts as pity, and I think it starts as like understanding towards his person and his character. So I really, really like how the story is like set up as a true enemies to lovers. Like, these two have every single right to absolutely dislike and hate each other. And I really, really enjoy that. So basically the first episode is set up. We see that the devil god is destroyed the whole, realm in terms of immortals, in terms of like Lee Soo-soo's clans. There are no more immortal clans alive. That's all gone, and basically the world is kind of like falling into a dark point in history. And basically Lee Soo-soo gets a time travel device, and she is asked to travel back as the only survivor. She is asked to travel back 500 years, and also she is the only one who can activate that artifact. So she travels back 500 years in time to basically before there was the devil god, there was Tantai-jin, and he is basically like the person who is meant to become the devil god. And funnily enough, she falls into Shiwoo's body, and Shiwoo is married to Tantai-jin. So this starts off this very peculiar and, very peculiar relationship between them, because at this point, Tantai-jin is pretty meek, or so you think. He is meek, he is powerless, but he's also really clever, and he's really devious. So you kind of like can see, I really enjoy that you can see like the little bits of him that are prone to be, or prone to become the devil god in the future. So they haven't completely annihilated like all of that character and made him this very, very weak character. He is pretty weak. He has no power. He is a hostage in, from a warring country. So he is really, really weak, but he's also pretty clever. And he has had to be to survive. He has had to be devious, and he has had to like do things that he isn't proud of. And he's a very, very curious character, I think, because you immediately at the beginning, you're like, I'm thinking, how the heck am I going to realistically like him enough to think that, to make this romance believable? And also, Lee Yoon-chi looks ridiculously good in this drama. Yes, he does look a bit smaller than he usually does, but actually I read a comment, someone stating that before he recorded this drama, he had been on a previous drama and he had an accident, and he actually had to have his jaw wired shut. So he was on a liquid diet for a while due to that injury. So basically it means that he was, losing a lot more weight, and he just went straight into recording this drama. And basically I think there was a lot of commentary on like his physique and all of that, and I think he still looks good. Like, his costuming's really good. I did think his makeup was a little bit heavier than it needed to be, like the under eye makeup. But actually, Yoku heard, like, the fans were saying, look, it doesn't look that great. So actually, they went back and they re-edited his makeup. So actually, if you haven't watched this drama yet, or, if you started watching it later, you will see that his makeup is a lot less heavier than it was originally in the, the episodes originally, which I think is pretty damn cool for like a platform to go in and hear what the fans are saying, and if it's something they can change without it having an effect on the story at all, because it kind of doesn't. I kind of enjoyed seeing that. So yeah, he is, like I said, a very complex character. But actually, they do a pretty good job of making him somewhat pitiful enough, there is no other word, pitiful enough for me to be like, okay, this dude carries a lot of baggage. He has been through the absolute ringer, so I can completely understand why he is the way he is. So yeah, I definitely really, really enjoyed that opening episode. It sets everything up. And then obviously Lee Su travels back in 500 years, into Yi Shu's body, and she's obviously married to Tan Tai Jin, and Yi Shu is like this really horrible character, and I really enjoyed that part of the drama, because all of a sudden, like in the first 15 minutes of the episode, the devil god is the mean horrible character, and the Lee Su is like our virtuous good character, and then all of a sudden you're 500 years in the past, and Yi Shu, which is where Lee Su's body landed, is the horrible character, and Tan Tai Jin is like the pitiful, down, being kicked, being bullied character. And you're like, this makes it a really interesting, that's not the word I was going to use, but it makes it a really interesting flip on the situation, and it kind of makes you click with the characters a little bit more, if that makes sense. So I really enjoyed that. I also, in the first couple of episodes, I wasn't expecting as much comedy, from all the trailers that I had watched and from all the promo that I had watched. I had kind of imagined a lot of angst, a lot of fighting, a lot of blood just constantly. And yes, the drama is very heavy on the angst, very heavy on the, fighting, the blood, all of that. It is very heavy on all of those things. But there's a lot more comedy that I was thinking. Just little scenes like when Lee Su is now in Shi Wu's body and she's trying to fly away like she would. The body goes nowhere and she's like, what the hell is happening? And she realizes, I'm in this human meek body. I can't do anything. This girl didn't exercise. She didn't do anything. So that was really interesting as well. I really enjoyed the comedy of it. So, for the first 12 episodes, we're kind of with Tan Tai Jin and Shi Wu, and the story moves really quickly. Tan Tai Jin is trying to, break out of this mold. His powers are starting to develop, and there's a lot of scenes where basically our female lead, Shi Wu, is goes, all of a sudden, she goes from this character who absolutely hates Tan Tai Jin and is in love with the second male lead. Well, he's not really a second male lead, but she's in love with the crown prince, and basically all of a sudden she hasn't got a care in the world for the crown prince, and that's because the crown prince in the 500 years in the future is part of her clan and is kind of her brother, her sworn brother. So she has absolutely no feelings for him, and she's finds it ridiculous. But then it leads to a lot of comedy scenes as well, because everybody just kind of tells her, oh no, you did this or you did that, and she's like, what the hell am I? What is this girl that I've fallen into? They've put her in the right place, because she's with Tan Tai Jin, and what she has to do, she technically has to protect him, because if he dies with the devil bone inside of him, he will basically become the devil god a lot quicker. So she has, not only does she have to prevent him from dying, but she also has to deal with this hatred that she has towards him, and she has to recalculate her inner feelings, thinking this person right now, Tan Tai Jin, is not the devil god in 500 years time. And I really appreciate that it took her a good few episodes to kind of recalibrate herself into that frame of mind, into thinking I can't let him die. But when she first arrives, she's rightfully so like a mess of absolute hatred towards him. And she kind of like he's being punished to stand out in the snow for something that, you know, he did that wasn't even that big in the grand scheme of things. But she doesn't go and rescue him straight away. She lets him sit out there because she does have this hatred towards him. And I kind of like really enjoy that she doesn't go into like protecting mode or anything like that straight away. She holds on to that anger for a good few episodes because it suits her character and it suits the situation that they're in. So I really enjoyed that writing as well. And then basically, you know, we're just going through the story and, you know, she's kind of like trying to find a way to get this devil bone out of him. And it's kind of hilarious because she's like touching him up, trying to feel, you know, where the devil bone is. And obviously that's not something she can feel in that sense. So it does lead to quite funny scenes. I've written down some of scenes that I have enjoyed. So there's a scene that Shiwoo is like making sure that Tan Tai-jin has enough food for him to eat, and because he's always been so betrayed by everybody. He doesn't trust anybody, and he doesn't trust her, rightfully so. She was punishing him. She was like beating him up every night to like vent her anger out and all of this. So rightfully so, he does not trust her and he doesn't want to eat it. So there's this one scene where she kind of brings him back to her bedroom because she's like, you're skin and bone, like you need to eat, because in her mind it's not necessarily that she cares for him, because at this point I don't think she does, but he cannot die. She cannot let him die. So it kind of leads to these, you know, interesting scenes where she's having to do kind things for him even though she may not want to. So it's a really interesting situation to be in, and something I've not quite seen in a Shansha drama before, but I find it really, really interesting. So yeah, and then she kind of like just eats the food and walks out in this huff as if to say, can you just eat it? Like, because she almost doesn't want to be kind to him, but she kind of has to. And I find that so interesting to watch on screen. And that's something that kind of like carries through for quite a while. So yeah, I have another scene down that I really enjoyed, which was the scene where he basically, like, we have to talk about this scene. It's the scene where Tan Tai-jin basically uses the crows at the Crown Prince and Yi Bing-chang's wedding to basically get revenge on every single person that has been horrible to him. And I loved it. Loved that scene. And I'm like, this is kind of devious, and I really shouldn't be applauding violence in this way, but I kind of am, because these people are horrible. They are horrendous people. Like, they deserve every single scratch that these crows give him. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed that part because it was kind of fun to figure out that actually, so the tribe that Tan Tai-jin's mother was from has this kind of like skill where they can communicate and control animals. And at the beginning, Tan Tai-jin's so weak, he's so like out of power that he isn't able to use it very much. But as his character kind of like gains momentum and he starts to kind of get energy from demons, and he's, you know, starting to be able to control that and get that power, he is able to control more animals and to use that, you know, specific part of him you know, to his advantage. But it's kind of fun because this means that he's kind of aware of everything all at the same time, because he can control animals and he always has like eyes everywhere. So it makes it that he may appear weak, but he's definitely not. And even in that scene, so I kind of love the fact that by this episode, I can't quite remember what episode it is, but by this episode, you know that he has feelings for Shiwoo. And the thing is, I don't think he knows what feelings he has. I don't think, because he's not supposed to be able to feel, and I don't think that's quite right. I think he does feel, he just doesn't recognize the emotions. I think the emotions are so foreign to him that he doesn't know that like that's caring for someone, or that is, you know, beginnings of liking someone, because he never has had links to anybody before. So I really enjoyed that scene where, you know, the crows are coming in, and on his hit list is Yi Xin-woo. But he basically, he can't do it. He kind of like turns the crows away. And then everybody kind of moves out of the mansion to get away from the crows. And Shiwoo comes back in to save him. And she's like brandishing a sword. And he thinks that's it. He thinks she's gonna, you know, kill him. But she doesn't. She kills like a crow that's coming behind him. And it's truly, like, I think there's sparks, you know, this scene is done really beautifully. I loved it. It was like a bit like horrendous to see, but I still absolutely loved it. So yeah. And then there is a scene where on the way to the Jin Kingdom, Shiwoo dances for Tan Tai-jin. Now, she's trying, at this point, he's on the way back to his original kingdom, and he's basically like going to reclaim his throne, basically reclaim his power. And he has kind of taken her as his hostage. And by this point, I don't think it's simply that. I think he does not want to part with her. Like, he's kind of like imprinted her to be his almost. And he's like, you are coming with me. So he kind of takes her with him. And it's kind of funny that she basically tries to escape and somebody helps her. In the end, it comes back to bite both of them in the back, but somebody helps her escape, and she's like, fine. So she dresses up as one of the dancers in the ship, and I'm pretty sure we all know Tan Tai-jin recognizes her, and he's like, I want you to dance for me. And this scene, guys, I kid you not, the chemistry between Bailu and Yoon-ji in this bloody scene is ridiculous, because it's like all about their body language. No words are spoken. There is no words spoken throughout this dance. It is like this seduction of, you know, Shiwoo's character, and he is eating every single crumb of it, and I loved it. I absolutely loved this. You know, the fire between them is just insane. I think the whole like fandom lost their minds when this scene aired, because it's done so blooming well. I loved it. And then actually I kind of loved the scene that comes straight after, which is where Shiwoo is kind of like, well, I will not become your hostage anymore, and she jumps off the ship. She's like, I'd rather take my chances in the sea than basically, you know, become your hostage. So she does, she jumps off. And I kind of like that a couple of episodes later, then Tan Tai-jin's brother finds him and is trying to kill him, and basically he gets betrayed by somebody that he thought was as close to him as a mother. So once again, he gets betrayed. This man gets betrayed by every single person, and I kind of see why he would become the devil god, why he would take that deal from that voice inside of him to like become ruthless and to become the monster that people expect him to be, because like he keeps getting betrayed, he keeps getting, you know, it is horrible, it's just horrible. So his story is just so sad in general. So yeah, I really enjoyed this scene. That then a couple of episodes later, he gets caught by his brother and gets betrayed again, and he jumps off the ship. And it's kind of like, it's such a juxtaposition to like the scene where he made her jump off the ship, and now somebody else is making him jump off the ship. So I really did enjoy that part as well. And then that kind of like leads to her finding him on the shore, and, you know, fighting off the demon together, and they're both really, really weak. And there's a scene where they're kind of like laying, so she's sitting up against a tree, and she falls asleep to like recuperate a bit, and he kind of leans into her elbow and, you know, tends to fall asleep as well. And I feel like that scene is just so good. It's something so tiny, but it's like he has never sought comfort in anything or anyone. And I absolutely adore the fact that he kind of like snuggles into her for that comfort and for that, you know, and he's comfortable enough to like fall asleep next to her. So I just really, 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 you know, loved that scene, because it's something that, you know, Tantai Jin has never come across. So, you know, I really, really loved it. And then, you know, they both part ways again. She goes off to the abyss, where she finds the god Ji Yi, and basically he tells her the prophecy that to remove the devil bones, he's been waiting there for 10,000 years for her, and to remove the bones, Lee Su needs to collect a dream, a tear, and a love string. So she has to collect all three of those, and that's kind of like giving you a hint where the next arc is going to be, because then the next arc we enter into the dream world. Now, there's been a lot of discussion about this arc, and to me, beautiful arc. I absolutely loved the dream arc. Now, lots of people think it's reincarnation, and it's kind of like Tantai Jin and Shiwoo's past life. I am of a different opinion when it comes to the dream world arc. I'm pretty sure, and now I have only watched up to episode 15, so there could be clues that say one way or the other a couple of episodes later, but you guys got to remember, when I'm recording these, I have only got the information to go by, you know, up to the episode that I'm recording to. So this one's episode 15, and to me it is a dream world, and there's a couple of things to me of details of why I think it's a dream world. So one of them being that the dragon is holding on to a clamshell on the outside, and I believe that those are the spiritual manifestations of the god of war, the dragon being the god of war, and the clamshell being our beautiful, you know, clam princess. So that's why I think, like, if they're spiritual manifestations, it can be like on the outside as that, then why would, you know, we also see Shiwoo and Tantai Jin in the same place? Like, it just doesn't seem like all of that could be in the same place. Does that make sense? Like, you couldn't have the reincarnations and the spiritual manifestations all in one place. Like, I don't think that would be feasible, or like that wouldn't make sense. So that's why, one of the reasons why I think it's, you know, a dream. And also is it Jizi? So the god of time, he says she needs to collect a dream. And I think this is a dream she needs to collect. So it would mean that it is a dream and not necessarily a reincarnation, you know, a past story. I absolutely loved the whole, you know, I haven't quite finished the Dream Realm arc because I think it carries on up to 17, so I've got 2 more episodes to go on that, which I'm going to catch up on today. But I didn't want to go like any further and then like start giving, you know, details on my up to episode 15 review, you know, more details that go past 15, because then it would just be confusing. So I wanted to sit down, record, and then keep watching. And basically, you know, there's a couple of other things that I noticed. So there's a big fight scene in episode 14-15. Big fight scene between the gods and the devil god. And he, like, right before the devil god dies, or, you know, the god of war gives him the last hit, he removes his mask as he's falling down. And the person behind the mask is Tantai Jin. Like, it's the face of Tantai Jin. And he swears he will be back for revenge. Now, I'm not sure if this is like a big detail or not, but I'm hoping it'll connect to something because it was such a quick flash. But you definitely see that it's like they used Lu Yunshi's face to play that character in the Devil God in that world, which means that like, you know, Tantai Jin is destined to become that. So it means that to me, even more that it is a dream world and not necessarily a, you know, reincarnation realm like of their past story or whatever it may be. So I loved it. I feel like the Clan Princess, oh my god, the Mohe people from the Mohe River people, stunning. Their outfits are just so beautiful. I think they, as of till now, they have the most beautiful like outfits that I've seen in the whole show because they're just stunning. And you know, the Clan Princess with all the shells in her hair, and oh my god, I absolutely loved it. She's stunning. I also feel like what they're doing, what this arc is necessary for, is to basically tell you, like, to basically show our main characters another side. So to show them that like good can be bad and bad can be good, if that makes sense. And I think they kind of need to experience that to be able to kind of like bring them you know, in a different route when they come back to the real, you know, outside of the dream world. And I think that's it. Do I have any more I might have a couple more notes. Let me just check. So yeah, okay, I love the fact that Sangju, so our clan princess, is the only one who can save him. And then, like, I love, like, in episode 15, we get a bunch of, like, really funny scenes of him, like, almost getting roasted in a clamshell. And that was just hilarious because he returns back to his, like, mini dragon form. And he's, like, she puts him in a clamshell to save him. And it's kind of hilarious. Now, we've got to touch on Yi Bingshi's character, the, you know, goddess. Up in the, oh my god, I don't even want to touch on her because I'm just so mad every time I see her on my screen. I don't understand. Like, even before we went into the dream world, Bing Chang is a type of character that I'm like, I don't really see the use in her. Now, I don't know if this is because they had to cut down a lot of backstory and, you know, the second couple kind of suffered a lot by, you know, a lot of their story being cut out, but her character is just whiny to me, and she's either crying or, you know, she's either pining over a man or crying or waiting to be rescued. And I just don't like these type of characters. So I already didn't really like her that much in the outside world, but we didn't really get that much of her. Now, we go into the dream world and she is like front and center in this, and I'm like, oh my god. And she goes into the coma, and all I kept thinking when she woke up is, you should have just stayed in the coma. Everybody would have liked you more if you had just stayed in the blooming coma. So yeah, there's a lot. I just don't like her character. I really don't. But I've been reading some spoilers that in the book, she gets even worse. And, like, there's a lot more to come from her. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't. Because I really just don't like her at all. So, yeah, she's like the root of all evil in this, in the dream world realm. The devil god, like, they get together and they defeat him. But if it wasn't for this blooming goddess, I feel like this dream world realm would have a whole different, you know, scenario happening. So yeah, I love like that. Then we get, this is the last bit I've seen in episode 15 where Sangju is just like taking care of Mingye. I'm having a moment now. The god of war. So she's basically just taking care of him and being super nice to him, and it's adorable. Like, those scenes are just adorable. But I know I'm about to get my heart broken and I'm about to be mad in the next couple of episodes. So yeah. I also really liked that basically we see Chu Huang Dai. She's the goddess of time and space, not of time, but of space. And so basically I read somewhere that actually she is Lee Susu's mother. So I thought it was just so sad that this is the only way that she gets to meet her mother, because she didn't before. So that was really sad. But also it was like a nice thing to see them be together for a little while. And I think that's it. That's everything for up to episode 15. I'm gonna go and watch some more episodes right now. Needless to say, I'm absolutely loving this drama. I feel like we're about to enter the true angst part of it, because I don't think we've seen angst as of yet, but I feel like we're about to enter that part. We shall see next time when I sit down to record the next part of this review, where we're gonna land for the next 15 episodes. But I'm loving it, and I hope this review turns out okay, but we shall see. This has been another episode of the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast. I'm your host, Liliana, and you can come and chat to me on Instagram, Tea and Soju Pod, all one word, and on Twitter, tea_soju_pod. You can also email me at teaandsojupodcast@gmail.com. If you would like to support this podcast, please consider joining Patreon for extra content. Lastly, if you enjoy this podcast, please help by rating and reviewing wherever you listen to help others find this drama corner. I'll leave everything linked in the description notes. See you next time for more Asian drama chatter.